This second video will assist you in generating ideas to start your own business. Again, being an entrepreneur or starting a small business, you have to think of some of the things that will get you started. This product must provide something of value. Secondly, people want or need. Thirdly, the price they are willing to pay. The product or the service that you have established your business in should satisfy their needs and expectations. It should make enough to make it worthwhile. Again, when you're starting a business, there are some universal requirements. You should understand what people want. Obviously, you have to do a market research to get that commodity that you are thinking of establishing or what people really want. You have to attract and get the right customers. In other words, you have to be very good with your marketing skills. You must trust to deliver on promise. You have to deliver at the same time to your customers. And when you deliver, this must satisfy your customers. Of course, being an entrepreneur, you must have profit, which means that more money that you save than money that is spent. So where do I begin, or where do you begin? You have to pursue the type of work that you love. As you sit and ponder about the products that you want to start your business, these are the things that you love. You look for opportunities. What are some of the opportunities that are available out there? And because of our opportunities, you try to brainstorm these ideas. Look for people who have done the same kind of business. When you begin to brainstorm ideas, you begin to see that there are some things that you can start your business in. Try to go traveling. When you travel to a lot of new places, you try to see some of the business things that are established in certain places that can be replicated in your home country. Look for an unfulfilled demand. Look for a product that tries to solve a problem. Fill a niche market. This means that a market that has not been established before. It's a niche market. Try to consider the resources that are around you. Look at some of the business trends. What do people like? Look at some of the existing products and services that are available to you. Perhaps you can always add more to those products, create another new product from the existing products that are already there. Or probably you might like to consider creating another new service from the existing services that are already there. You might like to look at some complementary products or products that you can create from existing products. Or you can even substitute some products or substitute a service that has already been created. Significantly, distribution channels are very, very important because these are channels or these are modes of operation that actually distribute your product to your markets. You might like to look at government, as government is the arm that puts out legislations. You might like to do a little research and develop your product. Okay, what is a characteristic of an ideal business? Of course, again, you need to do a technical feasibility. Do a little research. Is this business going to prosper? How is it going to compete with other competitors? Look at a business that requires little to no initial investment. In other words, look at a business that you don't spend a lot of money with. Look at a business that has a recognized and a measurable market. Obviously, when you do a business that doesn't sell, that business is going to not be successful. Look at a business that there is a need that is present. An independent source of supply for the required inputs are available. Look at a business that has a regular supply. Always try to look at a business that has no government regulation, that you don't need to pay a lot of money, and requires little or no labor force. Look at a business that buyers purchase frequently. Also, try to look at a business that has favorable tax treatment from government. Also, look at a business that is receptive, established, and has an established distribution system. Of course, look at a business that has great publicity value and customers pay in advance. All in all, look at a business that has no risk of product liability, that people are not able to take you to court for a failure. Again, you begin to generate business ideas, right? When you're focused on a business idea or on a product, you try to look at the marketing and branding of a particular product. Market segmentation is very, very important. Okay? It just means dividing up a larger market into subsets of smaller markets. These are very, very important to marketing and branding. So there are 3 types of market segmentation: demographic, psychographic, and geographic. Demographic means you are targeting people of a certain age, people of a certain gender, the family size of people, the income that people get, the type of occupation that they have, the education that they've been through, the ethnicity or the race, and of course the religion. For psychographic, you target the lifestyle of the people, the activities that they're involved with, what are the kind of opinions that they have, the things that they value, and the kind of attitudes that they have. You also target the hobbies that people have. For geographic, when you're creating a product, you begin to target people who are in the urban area, people who live in the rural area. For instance, like if you are trying to sell a dress or type of fabric, people in the urban area would prefer a different kind of fabric to the people who live in the rural area. So when you're targeting people, you look at the geographic locations of people. You look at the population density. Where are people densely populated that can buy your product? Look at the weather patterns. There might be places which are dry and hot to places who has a cool climate. These people have different needs. For marketing, marketing is not just advertising. It's what you say and how you say it. It is done through advertisement. Probably you might like to do some advertising of your product. You might like to do some brochures, which are very, very important, which has your product. These are very, very important as you begin to distribute to people who are willing to buy your product. Look at press releases. This is a very important marketing tool. Look at the social pages of Facebook and Twitter as a very, very important marketing tool, as a lot of people are on Facebook and Twitter. This will assist you to market your product. You might also like to look at the intersection of the business and the buyer. For branding, branding is very important. It is a combination of name, sign, symbol, or logo. It can also be called a tagline or a catchphrase. It's also called labeling and packaging. These are all part of branding, for the purpose of identifying and differentiating from other products. That's why you have certain brands. Objective: to get potential market to see you as the only one that offers a solution to their problems. You have to be very careful of how you position your market. Manipulating your brand to create a positive perception in the eyes of the public is very, very important when you're positioning your market. Presentation impacts perception, and it incorporates the 5 senses that people have, which are sight, sound, touch, smell, and taste. You can also deposition your market, changing your perception of competing brands. Brand awareness: make your customers and potential customers aware of business and its products and services. If you're competing in a saturated market is a market that is not fluid or flowing. If you're competing in a saturated market, company with the highest positive brand awareness makes the most sales. Conditions for successful brand awareness: you must have a clear message. Try to communicate through the right channels for your target market. Of course, the channels for communication are the radio. You can use the radio, you can use your TV, your social networking sites, your billboards, and your newspapers. Your distribution channel is where your market will actually go and get your products from. You can have a very good, effective sales team. You can have very good retailers. You can have very effective distributors. And of course, you can have the internet to distribute your product. The distribution channel must offer a right level of service your product demands through your branding and positioning. Selecting the right distribution channel: consider what a channel can offer. 1, you must have a strategic location, a central location. right? Because you need your product to sell. If you decide on a location that is not strategic, or where you do not have a lot of people, obviously your product will not sell. Consider the reach your product can do. What does it offer? Does it satisfy a need? Consider the reach is very important. Look at the skills and look at the resources that you're trying to offer. Look at the management of this distribution channel, how effective it can be to distribute the product. Next, for an example, we will look at honey as a product. For its many uses, honey can be used as a spread, as a substitute for sugar, can be used as a substitute for tea, can be used for baking, for cooking. It can also be used as an antiseptic and to treat digestive problems. Now, these are your potential market segments. You can market it to children, to women, to pastry chefs, to health-conscious families, and to sick people. Now, for children, this is the branding for your children. First of all, when you look at the brand, it is fun, it is playful, it is colorful, it is yummy. Because on the brand, you will see a bee flying. The name of this honey product is Airborne, and it's targeting kids only. Now, when children look at this honeybee flying, it also resembles a cartoon kind of picture. It will really attract children just by the branding that's there on the bottle. Now, for the distribution channels, you can use supermarkets, bread shops, bakeries, or cake shops just to sell this product to children. Next, honey can also be used to target women and health-conscious families or even chefs. The branding for this particular product that is targeting women and health-conscious families and chefs is called Rouse. And when you look at it in detail, it says pure and natural honey. Okay? This is what the branding says. It can be used as a sugar substitute, for health benefits, and for other uses for cooking. Now, for distribution channels, which is very important, it can be distributed in a supermarket, in a cake shop, and in pop-up markets. Now, we begin to target honey for people with health problems. The branding says health benefits and antiseptic properties targeting specific ailments. Branding for digestive problems, for people with diabetes and people who suffer from stomach ulcers. Our distribution channels are supermarkets, or probably you might like to place a bottle of honey near other medicinal items. You can even use pharmacies to distribute your product. You can place honey on checkout counters. Now, we begin to look at the process of a new venture or a business plan. This is very, very important, as this is a regulatory requirement for funding agencies that assist in funding small business. Business plan is the document in which you must have these very, very important topics. These are basic items that should be included in a business plan. 1, you must have an executive summary. An executive summary is a summary of your project or your product. You must have an industry analysis. How are you going to analyze your industry if you're thinking of establishing this business? Of course, you must have a brief description of your organization before you actually submit this for funding. You must describe your product and the services that you're wanting to go into. You must have a market description, which is very, very important. How are you going to sell your product? And of course, the kind of approaches and strategy that you will use when you market your product. This is your business or your market strategy. You must have an operations description. How are you going to operate? What are your management? What are your administrative operation? Of course, you need a staffing description. You need to describe your staff. How many people are you going to employ? Most significantly, you need a financial projection, as funding agencies would like to look at your financial forecast. How are you going to forecast your profits on the money that you will get in a month's time, or probably in 3 months or 6 monthly? What are your capital needs? How much do you need the money, and how you're going to divide up this money? What are some achievements and milestones that you're thinking of achieving, say in 12 months or in 2 years? Of course, when you finish your business plan, you then submit this to your funding agency for funding provisions. Thank you very much. You have just watched a video on starting a small business.